The repairability is great, the price is great, the sound is great, build quality is great, comfort is great. What you can't go wrong. Again, the greatest deal in over-ear audio. HD560S. These were, and I mean were, my personal favorite headphone ever. These were my first ever open back, and still my favorite sounding Sennheiser to this day. I have HD600s, I still love these. I'm not saying these are better, I just prefer the spacious, bright presentation that these bring to the table. They're not too bright, they're just leaning on the neutral bright line that I really like. They remind me of IEMs in that they're a little bit intense, but they just bring forward so much detail. I really like these, and for the price that you can get them at back in the day, these were fantastic. But these are the FiiO JT3s, and immediately, one quick disclaimer. I had QC issues with these, quality control issues, where my left side wiring just didn't have enough solder, and the wiring after about 20 seconds of playback just sort of snapped off. And that's pretty unfortunate. However, I don't think that's a big enough issue to overcome how stinking good of a value this is. And I'm just gonna say it right now, this is gonna be the catchphrase for this video. This is the greatest deal in over-ear open back headphone in the headphone market. This is the greatest deal in over-ear headphones, and I mean it. I stand by that. So let's start with the first reason why it's so stinking good value. Metal. It's a metal headband with this beautifully breathable suspension strap, with this fantastically clever adjustment system that holds well. Like, it's geniusly thought out. It's fantastically thought out. And you got this metal yoke, you got this incredibly nice metal grill, actual dual output, so you don't have to deal with a wire running through it and like breaking. Speaking of breaking, I fixed the QC issue just by slightly adjusting the 3.5mm jack to press down on the cable, to press down on the wire and make it contact with the pad. And it fixed my audio, and it fixed the issue. It's not the greatest fix, but easily repairable. These cups are geniusly designed. The internals are really repairable. These yokes come off really easily. Just 4 screws, you're inside. No wire that can snap off when you're pulling the drivers off. Really cleverly designed. It's an incredible design. It's an incredible build. And it carries over to the comfort. Now my ears point pretty much out to the side, right? It's not too forward, it doesn't stick out too much. So the minimal swivel, get a very small amount, is enough to seal to my head. But if you don't get a great seal, then obviously these aren't going to work. So that's one caveat, along with the QC. But for me, at least, the comfort is really nice. This headband is incredible. This headband is stinking comfy. Like, these nuggets are so soft and breathable. Just a really nice headphone. Now onto the major part and why these replace my HD560S. Bring up the graphs. Shout out to Sai by Unheard Labs for getting these graphs. He has a industry compliant rig with what seems like really reliable measurements, and he does a lot of pad rolling measurements. Shout out to the guy. He has his own website that has a ton of resources for pad rolling. Really recommend checking out his website and his graph tool. I'll leave it in the description below. Good work, Sai. I really love your site, and you inspired me to get these, and I cannot be happier. Because let's bring what they're replacing back on the table. So let's start with these first. I have Geekeria pads on these. These are pretty not sensitive to pad rolling because aftermarket velour pads generally sound really good on these, and these Geekeria pads just give these, I found it gives them just a tad more bass and a little bit less sizzle in the top end. And these, now I will say, I did not listen to these with the stock pads. I'll put up the graph. It's this warm sort of muffled sound I just don't love, so I just didn't put any time on it. And also, taking off the stock pads is nearly impossible. You need a tool, and you will destroy them. You will destroy the stock pads taking them off. But these are official Sennheiser HD560S. I sacrificed these pads. I got Geekria pads for these so that I could use the 560S pads on this, and it makes them fantastic. It makes them sound like a better 560S. These Geekria pads tame the treble and just ever so slightly boost the bass, like by 1 dB. I'm not sure. It's very small. These have way nicer bass than the 560S, while maintaining that nice bright neutral mid-range that I love about the 560S. It makes these sound so well balanced that I just after the first like 5 minutes of repairing these, putting these aftermarket pads on, and then just playing my testing playlist, I genuinely float away. I forgot I was wearing new equipment. I thought I was wearing these, but then I heard the bass, and it just blew me away. The bass on these is really punchy. It's tight, it's fast, but it's really punchy and well-bodied for a neutral, bright tuned dynamic driver. It's incredible. It's really, really nice. I really like the bass on this. The mid-range is the same kind of mid-range presentation as this. These have a little more width in the staging presentation, I found, while these sound a little more energetic and a little bit more breathy, which I do really like, but they sound a little more closed in, and I found the imaging to be a little less precise. Just a little less precise. These are generally more spacious and more precise in the imaging, but not by enough. The treble on these are pretty identical. I'd say these maybe are a little sharper in terms of tonality, a little more metallic, a little more airy, sharper, while these are more detailed in the sense that they resolve a bit more. The sense of resolution you get is a bit more because they're a little smoother up there. I found that the treble just feels a little smoother. Same amplitude, but these sound sharper and it's really hard to describe treble because it's so unpredictable. But I say these are sharp in tonality, these are sharp in technicalities, if that makes sense. But when you compare these, so these are about $200, 300 to 250 Canadian. These are 100 Canadian with like $25 US of these HD560S pads if you don't own a 560S. These are 75 US bucks. Combined with these pads, 25 bucks, 30. They're 70. They're not even 75. They're 70 US bucks. You get this fantastic build quality. You pay an extra 30 bucks for these HD560S pads, and you got a headphone that will last you for life. $100. I repeat, $100. These are the best deal in over-ear audio. I stand by that. I genuinely stand by that. These are the best deal in over-ear audio. You don't need anything other than this. Genuinely. I think these just completely run circles. These completely run circles around the 560S. The build quality is way nicer. The repairability is way nicer. I repaired these myself. You can see super glue marks. You can see marks where I glued stuff in. It was a pain. These are super scuffed up. These look so much more premium for $100 less. Like, screw the sound quality, screw the aftermarket pads. For 75 bucks, if you're a bass head, you're gonna be in heaven with these, because the stock sound is very reminiscent of like the old warm 599s from Sennheiser, or like Philips SHP 9600. So if you like those, the stock pads are gonna be great. But if you're a neutral bright fan like me, who still likes bass quality, these are amazing with the 560S pads. And the fact that they're compatible with Sennheiser pads means that they're gonna last forever, because you can constantly get new pads. Sennheiser are never gonna discontinue these. These are incredible. And like, I just can't believe FiiO made something like this for $75. 75. I listened to these for 3 hours and I'm ready to make a review just because they're that good. They're genuinely that good. They wow me away. For the price, they wow me away. They might not be the most detailed thing, the most dynamic thing. They might not be the most tanky thing in the world, right? Then they're not gonna be like, they're not world beaters, but for the price and what you're getting, I think they punch up to that $500 range easy. These compete with HD600s. These two are not in the same league. Now, again, disclaimer, QC issues. But I trust FiiO enough. I trust FiiO enough that they're experienced enough that mine is just a really unlucky circumstance, because they did play for 20 seconds. So I think it's one of those QC issues where out of the factory the wire hasn't been dislodged enough to cause issues, but then it happened over shipping where the cable got dislodged, the wire got dislodged, and the sound gets really messed up. I genuinely think it happened over shipping. It's not FiiO's fault. I trust FiiO enough. I have many FiiO products. I love FiiO. I trust them to do good on their JT3, and I believe mine is just a dud. I managed to fix mine. It's probably not a permanent fix. I will probably have to get a soldering iron soon to like actually resolder these. But for how easily fixable that fault is, the repairability is great, the price is great, the sound is great, build quality is great, comfort is great. What you can't go wrong. Again, the greatest deal in over-ear audio. Get them. Support FiiO. Bye.